The anomaly appeared without warning in the rings of Saturn, a shimmer of impossibility against the endless dance of ice and rock. Captain Sarah Chen of the ESV Vigilant watched it through the observation deck's reinforced windows, her reflection ghostly against the vast darkness of space. Her ship, along with two others, the ESV Hawthorne and ESV Magellan, formed humanity's most advanced stealth observation fleet, hidden in the shadows of Saturn's largest rings. Multiple signatures detected. Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported from his sensor station, his voice carefully controlled. There, unlike anything in our database, Captain. The shimmer had grown into a tear in space itself, a wound in reality that pulsed with colors that shouldn't exist. Through it came the first visitors to humanity's solar system, massive vessels that seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics, their hulls shifting like liquid metal under Saturn's pale light. "Maintain emission silence," Sarah ordered, though her crew hardly needed the reminder. They had trained for this moment for years, practicing first contact scenarios in the simulator. But reality had a way of making all their preparations feel inadequate. Dr. Maya Patel, the fleet's chief xenologist, worked frantically at her station, recording every detail of the alien ship's emergence. Their method of arrival suggests technology far beyond our current understanding. The energy required to create such a spatial anomaly would exceed our entire planet's annual output. More vessels emerged from the rift, smaller ones now, moving with an organic grace that made human ships look clumsy by comparison. Sarah counted 12, 15, 20 ships, arranging themselves in a formation that spoke of both intelligence and purpose. "They're scanning," Rodriguez reported, his eyes fixed on his displays. "Broad-spectrum suites, but nothing that should detect us through the stealth systems." Sarah nodded, but something about the aliens' movement patterns nagged at her tactical instincts. They weren't moving like explorers encountering new territory. Their formation was too precise, too practiced. Dr. Patel, analysis of their behavior patterns. Maya looked up from her station, her face illuminated by the soft blue glow of her screens. Their movements suggest familiarity with similar environments. They're not exploring. They're securing their arrival point using standard military doctrine, just more advanced than ours. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. First contact was humanity's dream. But this felt more like an advance force than a diplomatic mission. She watched as the alien vessels deployed smaller objects, probably automated probes, in a spherical pattern around their position. "They're creating a sensor network," Commander David Park, her XO, observed quietly. "Standard procedure for establishing a forward operating base." "Ma'am," Rodriguez interrupted, his voice tense. "The probes, they're starting to move outward. 3 are headed toward the inner system." Sarah made a decision. "Encrypt and compress all our observations so far. Prepare it for tight beam transmission to the Luna command bunker." She turned to face her crew, their faces showing the same mix of excitement and concern she felt. "We might be witnessing humanity's first contact, but something tells me we're also watching the opening moves of an invasion." The alien fleet continued its methodical deployment, unaware they were being watched by human eyes. Their ships moved like predators, beautiful and deadly, while deep in the rings of Saturn, humanity's watchers recorded everything, preparing for a future they could already see coming, one where Earth would need every advantage it could get. Hours passed as they observed the alien fleet's activities. The visitors had established what appeared to be a temporary base, using technology that somehow manipulated the very fabric of space around them. Their probes had spread further into the solar system, moving with purpose rather than curiosity. "Captain," Maya called out, her voice carrying an edge of urgency. "I've been analyzing their energy signatures. These ships, they're not their primary fleet. The technology level is too consistent, too uniform. These are automated vessels." Sarah moved to Maya's station, studying the complex energy patterns displayed on her screen. "You're saying these are drones? Advanced ones, Yes, but look at these command and control patterns. They're receiving instructions from somewhere, probably through that spatial anomaly they emerged from. Commander Park joined them, his military training adding another perspective. Scout Force, he said grimly. Automated advance units to secure and prepare for the main fleet's arrival. Sarah straightened, her decision made. They had trained to observe, to watch and learn, but sometimes knowing when to break silence was just as important as knowing how to keep it. Begin preparations for a tight beam transmission to Luna Command. We need to warn Earth before. Captain. Rodriguez's voice cut through the tension. Multiple new signatures emerging from the anomaly. These are much bigger. Through the observation window, Sarah watched as new shapes began to emerge from the spatial tear, massive vessels that dwarfed the already impressive scout ships. The real first contact was about to begin, and humanity's only warning would come from 3 stealth ships hiding in Saturn's rings, watching as history unfolded before them. The fate of Earth might depend on what they did next, and Sarah Chen intended to make sure humanity had every possible advantage in the coming storm. Commander Park's voice cut through the tense silence of the ESV Vigilance Bridge. 5th probe launched, heading toward Jupiter's orbit. For 3 days, they had watched the alien fleet grow. What started as an advance force had swelled into an armada. Over 50 vessels now, each demonstrating capabilities that made Earth's most advanced technology look primitive in comparison. Sarah Chen studied the holographic display, showing the aliens' expanding sphere of influence. Their probes moved with purpose, following specific orbital paths that seemed random at first, but revealed a chilling pattern to trained eyes. They're mapping our infrastructure, Maya observed, highlighting several paths on the display. See these trajectories. They intersect with our major communication relays, automated mining operations, and research outposts. Sarah nodded grimly. The aliens weren't just exploring. They were conducting reconnaissance, systematically identifying human presence throughout the solar system. More concerning was how they seemed to know exactly where to look. New energy signature, Rodriguez reported. The largest vessel is deploying something different. They watched as a massive structure emerged from the flagship's hull, unfolding like a blooming flower made of impossible geometries. Energy readings from their sensors spiked, nearly overloading their most sensitive equipment. It's some kind of quantum scanner, Maya said, her voice filled with both awe and fear. The theoretical applications we've been working on at Europa Station. They've mastered it. With that technology, they could detect a coffee maker on Mars from here. Time until they can scan Saturn's rings? Sarah asked, already knowing she wouldn't like the answer. At their current rate of deployment, 12 hours, maybe less. Sarah exchanged looks with Commander Park. They had strict orders. Observe only, maintain stealth, gather intelligence. But those orders assumed they'd have time to warn Earth before any serious threat emerged. The quantum scanner changed everything. Show me the probe trajectories again, Sarah ordered. All of them, overlaid with known human installations. The holographic display updated, showing a web of intersecting lines. Red dots marked human outposts and installations, while blue lines traced the probe's paths. The pattern was unmistakable. They were being hunted. Those aren't random search patterns, Commander Park noted. They're using some kind of predictive algorithm. They know exactly what they're looking for. Maya's console beeped urgently. Captain, I've decoded more of their transmission patterns. The data bursts back through the anomaly. They're not just sending sensor readings. These are tactical assessments, force evaluations. Sarah watched another massive ship emerge from the spatial tear, its hull rippling with energies their sensors struggled to classify. The aliens weren't bothering to hide their capabilities anymore. Either they didn't know they were being watched, or they didn't care. Rodriguez, status of our stealth systems. Holding for now, Captain. But that scanner. He hesitated. Our stealth tech works on known principles of physics. What they're using, it breaks half of them. Sarah made her way to the observation deck, staring out at the alien armada. Their ships moved with predatory grace, their formations speaking of centuries of military evolution. Earth needed to know what was coming, but the moment they transmitted, they'd give away their position. Maya, how much data have we collected on their capabilities? 3 days' worth of continuous observation. Technical specifications, behavioral patterns, tactical analyses. Enough to give Earth's defenses a fighting chance, if we can get it to them. Commander Park joined her at the window. We could try to slip away, make it to the inner system before transmitting. Sarah shook her head. Those probes are faster than anything we have. The moment we fire up our main engines, they'll detect us. And if we wait, she gestured at the quantum scanner, still unfolding its impossible geometry. We lose the element of surprise completely. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They had trained for first contact scenarios, but this was different. This wasn't about making history. It was about giving humanity a fighting chance. Begin preparations for data transmission, Sarah ordered. Everything we've learned about their capabilities, their tactics, their technology. Compress it, encrypt it, prepare it for burst transmission to Luna Command. And after we transmit, Commander Park asked quietly. Sarah watched another alien vessel emerge from the anomaly, its hull crackling with energies that shouldn't exist. After we transmit, we make sure Earth's first warning isn't its last. Prepare emergency maneuvers. If we're going to break silence, we're going to make it count. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, knowing that their next actions would either save Earth or doom it. As Sarah watched her people work, she realized that this wasn't just first contact anymore. This was humanity's first line of defense, and they were about to make sure Earth understood exactly what it was facing. 9 hours until the quantum scanner would sweep Saturn's rings. On the bridge of the ESV Vigilant, Lieutenant Rodriguez monitored the encrypted data package they'd prepared for Earth. Every observation, every analysis, every scrap of intelligence they'd gathered about the alien armada, compressed and ready for transmission. New contact, Maya announced, her voice tense. Massive energy signature coming through the anomaly. The vessel that emerged dwarfed everything they'd seen before. Its hull rippled with patterns that hurt to look at, defying normal space in ways their sensors couldn't properly categorize. As they watched, it began deploying structures that looked like crystalline webs, expanding outward in geometric patterns. Some kind of faster-than-light communication network, Maya theorized. They're establishing real-time contact with wherever they came from. Sarah studied the tactical display, watching the alien fleet's formation shift to accommodate the new arrival. Their movements remained precise, methodical, but now they carried an air of finality. The scouting phase was ending. Multiple launches detected, Rodriguez reported. Small craft, moving fast. They're heading for the inner system. Through the observation window, Sarah watched the smaller vessels accelerate to impossible speeds, their hulls briefly distorting before they vanished into the darkness. They weren't just scouts anymore. These were advance units, preparing the way for something bigger. Captain, Maya called out, her fingers flying over her console. I've decoded more of their transmissions. The data patterns, they're changing. Becoming more structured, military. Commander Park leaned over Maya's station, studying the analysis. They're not hiding their intentions anymore. These are combat formations. Sarah felt time pressing down on them like a physical weight. Every instinct told her they needed to warn Earth now, before the alien fleet finished its preparations. But transmitting would give away their position, and the aliens' reaction speed had proven remarkable. "What's the status of the Hawthorne and Magellan?" she asked. "In position," Commander Park replied. "Captain Rice and Captain Wong are awaiting our signal." Sarah nodded, then addressed her crew. "I need options. How do we get our warning to Earth?" "We could try to piggyback our transmission on the background radiation," Rodriguez suggested. "Use the solar winds to mask our signal." Maya shook her head. Their quantum sensors would detect the anomaly. We have maybe 2 minutes before they traced it. 2 minutes might be enough, Commander Park said. If we split the data package between all 3 ships, transmit from different points. And if we time it right, Rodriguez added, we could use Saturn's magnetosphere to buy us a few more seconds. Sarah considered their options. The aliens' technology was far beyond anything humanity had encountered, but they still followed recognizable tactical patterns. They could use that. Maya, you said their combat formations are becoming more structured. Show me. The tactical display updated, highlighting the geometric precision of the alien fleet's positioning. Each ship maintained exact distances, creating overlapping fields of coverage. It was beautiful, perfect, and predictable. There, Sarah pointed to a gap in their formation. They're so focused on perfection, they've created a blind spot. If we time this right. She turned to her crew. Prepare the data package for split transmission. We'll coordinate with Hawthorne and Magellan, use Saturn's rings for cover, and hit that gap in their formation. We might only get one shot at this. And after we transmit, Commander Park asked, we run. Different vectors, maximum speed. Make them split their forces. Sarah's expression hardened. And if they catch us, we make sure they learn that humans don't go down easily. As her crew prepared for their final gambit, Sarah watched the massive alien vessel continue deploying its FTL network. Soon, they would have real-time communication with their home fleet. Earth needed to know what was coming before that happened. Begin final countdown, she ordered. Coordinate with Hawthorne and Magellan. The moment we transmit, we'll have every alien ship in the system hunting us. Let's make sure Earth gets its warning before they find us. The bridge hummed with focused energy as the crew made their preparations. They had trained for first contact, but now they were about to become humanity's first line of defense. In the next few minutes, they would either change the course of human history or become a footnote in it. Sarah Chen took one last look at the alien armada through the observation window. They were about to learn that humanity wasn't as helpless as they might think. All stations, prepare for emergency maneuvers. On my mark, we show them what humans can do. The first shot came without warning. A beam of impossible energy sliced through Saturn's rings, turning ice into plasma instantly. The ESV Vigilant shuddered as it executed its evasive maneuvers, diving deeper into the debris field. Transmission status, Sarah demanded, gripping her command chair as another blast lit up space around them. Package 1 away, Rodriguez reported. Hawthorne and Magellan transmitting their segments. 30 seconds until completion. The alien fleet had reacted faster than even their worst-case scenarios predicted. Ships moved with liquid grace, their formations shifting to cut off escape routes, while others gave chase through Saturn's rings. Multiple contacts, closing fast. Commander Park announced. Their weapons, they're not just energy beams. They're doing something to local space-time. Sarah watched through the tactical display as one of the alien weapons struck a massive ice boulder. Instead of destroying it, the beam seemed to phase through it, emerging on the other side unchanged. Physics-defying weaponry that ignored traditional cover. Magellan's gone silent, Maya reported, her voice tight. Last transmission showed critical hull breach. No time to mourn. The Vigilant dove through another gap in Saturn's rings, ice chunks the size of buildings providing momentary cover. Behind them, alien vessels pursued with relentless precision, their weapons turning space itself into a weapon. Transmission status, 70% complete. Hawthorne is still. Rodriguez's voice cut off as a brilliant flash lit up their screens. Where the Hawthorne had been, only expanding debris remained. They're not trying to capture us, Commander Park observed grimly. They want to make sure nothing gets back to Earth. Sarah nodded. Then we make every second count. Maya, add the weapons data to the final transmission package. Earth needs to know what they're facing. The Vigilant shuddered again as another alien beam grazed their hull. Warning lights flashed across engineering stations as systems began to fail. Hull breach on Deck 3, Rodriguez reported. Stealth systems failing. Through the view screen, Sarah watched as more alien ships emerged from the anomaly. Their massive forms cast long shadows through Saturn's rings, their weapons charging with impossible energies. Final transmission package ready, Maya announced, adding combat telemetry and sensor data from the battle. Sarah made her decision. Set course for the largest concentration of alien ships. Commander Park turned sharply. Captain, they want to stop our transmission. Let's give them something else to worry about. Sarah's voice carried steel. Engineering, prepare to overload the quantum core. We're not letting them study human technology. Understanding dawned on her crew's faces. The Vigilance experimental quantum core was still classified technology. If the aliens got their hands on it. Transmission at 90%, Rodriguez reported as the ship accelerated toward the heart of the alien fleet. They're trying to jam us, but the signal's getting through. Space warped around them as alien weapons fire intensified. The Vigilance hull groaned under stresses it was never designed to handle, but it held together, carrying its crew on their final mission. Transmission complete, Maya announced, pride mixing with determination in her voice. Earth has everything we've learned. All our data, all our observations. They know what's coming. Sarah stood at her command station, watching the alien fleet grow larger in their view screen. Then let's give them one last lesson about humanity. All power to engines. Set quantum core for maximum overload. The Vigilance engines roared as they charged toward the alien formation. Behind them, their transmission raced toward Earth, carrying warnings and data that might save their species. Ahead, the alien ships began to realize their prey had become predator. It's been an honor, Sarah said to her crew. Then, execute core overload. The ESV Vigilance quantum core detonated in a blast that twisted space itself, taking 3 alien capital ships with it. The explosion created a temporary blind spot in the alien sensor network, just enough disruption for their final transmission to slip through uncompromised. Earth would know what was coming. Humanity would be ready. And the crew of the Vigilant had ensured their first contact wouldn't be their last. Admiral Chen stood before the United Earth Defense Council, her dress uniform adorned with the newly created Vigilant Star, a medal commemorating the sacrifice that had saved humanity. 3 months had passed since the final transmission from Saturn's rings. The massive holographic display showed the alien fleet's current position, still holding at Jupiter, their advance temporarily halted by the unexpected destruction of their vanguard ships. The quantum scanner that had hunted Earth's stealth fleet now swept space more cautiously, as if wary of more human surprises. The Vigilant protocol is now fully implemented, Admiral Chen reported. Every ship in the fleet has been retrofitted with the countermeasures developed from the observation fleet's data. The aliens' phase weapons are still devastating, but no longer unopposed. The council chamber's walls displayed rolling statistics, ship production numbers, defense platform deployments, evacuation schedules. Humanity had learned from the warning bought with the lives of 3 crews. The Mars colonies have been hardened, she continued. Deep bunkers, quantum shielded. The lunar shipyards are operating at maximum capacity. Most importantly, we understand their tactics now. They're methodical, precise, and predictable. A new hologram appeared, showing the destroyed alien vessels. Their perfect formations had been their weakness. The Vigilant's final charge had proved that even superior technology could be overcome by human unpredictability. They expected to find a primitive species, Admiral Chen said. Instead, they found that humans don't die quietly. The observation fleet's sacrifice bought us time, but more importantly, it taught us how to fight back. The latest intel appeared on the main display. The alien fleet gathering strength, but more slowly now, more cautiously. They had learned to fear human ingenuity. Sarah, one of the counselors, spoke quietly. Your daughter gave us a fighting chance. Admiral Chen nodded, pride mixing with grief. She showed them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our willingness to stand against impossible odds. Outside the council chamber's windows, Earth's orbital defenses glinted in the sunlight. New designs, based on the alien technology the observation fleet had documented. Humanity had always been good at adapting, at learning from their adversaries. The quantum communications array, reverse-engineered from the observation fleet's data, registered new activity. The alien fleet was moving again, but this time Earth was ready. Thanks to 3 crews who had chosen to break silence, who had given everything to warn their species. The next phase begins, Admiral Chen announced. Operation Vigilant Dawn. We take the fight to them. As humanity prepared for war, the legacy of the observation fleet lived on. They had turned first contact into first resistance, proving that even against overwhelming odds, humans would find a way to survive, to fight back, to win. The stars had revealed their dangers, but humanity had revealed its strength, and in the darkness of space, that strength would light the way forward.